So this is Mark Chavez, one of my dearest friends, who last night received the first bit of the spring cleaning series of the neuromuscular release therapy, which is also the first official session of me sharing this work, being an apprentice of this work. And Mark, how did you feel before the session?
I have a lot of traumatic stress from my past, and I didn't find anything that would go deep enough. So I've always been looking for something that's going to be able to get to the root, per se. So yeah, I was pretty interested to find out what this was entailing.
So physically, did you have any severe ailments going into it?
Oh yeah, like I have irritable bowel syndrome. I have anxiety, stress, depression. Sometimes they're really severe, but I'm a happy person, so I kind of sort of overlook it. And that's where I realized I've done kind of sort of more damage to myself by creating blockages and holding it in. So,
And so, how did you feel during the session? We got up to the jaw. We didn't actually finish the jaw. We still have one more focal point to do before we can move on. So how were you feeling during it?
During the session, it was very, very intense because there was like two parts of me that were working. One was my mind, and the other part was like my body, and I could feel my body. I could feel me, and I can feel the difference between my inner self and the expression of myself in this body, and like I can see the healing process I was going through, and I was just amazed, because I was like, wow, this is great. But then the mind, it was like a whole different, like the opposite. It was, having me like think about things and connect things from the present and the past, and it was just like really overwhelming and intense. And I think the physical part of it was, for me personally, was more acceptable than the mind part of it. And then I realized in that moment when I was in there, that I have so much work to do, and I was like, this is amazing, because this is like there. This is like this has me at the door open, So
Beautiful. Your body was shaking pretty severely there for a while.
Yeah, my body was like severely like doing something that it's never done before, and that actually came back to when I had some surgeries, and the trembling was basically like how I was feeling when I was under the surgeries, aware of what was going on, and physically, because of anesthesia, you couldn't do anything. And I think it was a release of like that kind of activity, because it felt very familiar, but it felt like an unexpressed memory. And so when it was happening, part of me was like, what's happening? What's this going on? But part of me was like, it was coming from this place, and I was like, well, it's okay, but I mean, I don't understand why it's happening now. It's like it has nothing. It felt like it didn't have anything to do with the pain. Like it had nothing to do with the physical part of what I was going through. And at the same time, it was like I was afraid. I was like really fearing something, and it didn't have anything to do with the moment. It had to do with something else. And then that's when I realized that there's a lot more trauma than I've taken on than I think I have. It's like it's deep.
So we activated just a few points of the nervous system through the head and the face, and your body, your nervous system was releasing it throughout your whole body, that memory that is stored. That's what this work does, is it releases the stored trauma that's inside of the nervous system. And so, you know, the mind and the body has to process that. Sometimes it can be a little intense. But you were saying quite a few times that you were confused.
Yeah, it was a very confusing state because, like, my normal thought patterns of what life is and what my life is and where I'm going and all that, like that just went away. And in the moment, it was about like nothing. Like there's really nothing there. So it was confusing that I would feel like the inner self, like the higher self, being free from everything, and yet I'm having these reactions, like these thoughts and my body shaking. I'm like, it was very confusing. It felt like I was in a different reality, and it literally felt as if I was going through dimensions, you know. And so it was confusing because I didn't, like, I've never experienced that before, and I didn't know like what was real and what wasn't real, you know, in terms of like the traumas that I went through. I know that they don't affect me today, but I'm having a reaction, so it's affected something. And then my mind, like, having me like play games or something with me, and I was like, so it was confusing to be able to make sense out of it. And at the same time, part of me was like, it doesn't matter, you know, I'm not gonna make sense out of it. It has nothing to do with that anyways. It's just something that's being busy up here. And so part of me was at peace with the process, and part of me was just like lost, you know.
Beautiful. And how are you feeling now?
Completely at peace with like what happened, and actually, like, I feel like happier, like really happier that it's no longer, not that it's no longer there, but it's no longer unknown. Like, I know now how deep these things go, and I knew before, I just didn't know like how it would come out, you know. And even now, it's like that's just one way it came out, and I'm like, I'm okay with whatever way it comes out, because after it, you know, I'm safe, you know, I'm here right now, and I'm happy. And at that moment, I didn't know if this was going to happen, you know, but something was telling me, you know, I'm okay, you know. You helping me through it was like amazing. So now it's like, yeah, you know, I'm ready for it, you know, whatever it comes out. I can't say what, you know, how I'm gonna feel when I'm in it, but you know, right now it's like, yeah, I really want to go through this, you know.
Surrender.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I love you, brother.
Love you too, bro.